Hey folks, I'm Spencer and this is Cult Mania, and today we are looking at House, or Hausu. Not to be confused with the House quadrilogy from the States. This is House directed by Nobuhiko Obayashi from 1977, and I'm really sorry if my pronunciation of that name's not very good. This is the incredibly bizarre, hyperactive and fantastical story of a group of high school students who travel to their estranged auntie's house in the middle of the countryside. And as anyone who knows anything about horror movies will tell you, that's a bad decision. But don't worry, this isn't some sort of standard rural haunted house horror movie. Mainly because this is like nothing else out there. The film's narrative was actually constructed out of nightmares that Obayashi's preteen daughter had had, and then they're sort of strung together into this haunted house scenario. But that's the great thing about House. It's this weird melding of a bubblegum pop teen movie and a haunted house movie, but at no point does it sacrifice either of its genres in pursuit of its unique narrative. Every character is set up as being one personality trait, and they're even named as such, having names like Melody, Kung Fu, and Prof. And while this could and really should come across as being really shallow, it actually benefits the film because the film never has to slow down to build in any character arc or anything of that sort. This was actually probably done on purpose, as none of the main cast are played by actresses. They're all just models that Obayashi had worked with previously on shooting adverts. And despite only being caricatures, they still have far more personality than most slasher movie victims, and you actually care about them as the film progresses and they start slowly being picked off. The film still looks really beautiful. It's shot in this lovely 4x3 frame, and it's so colourful and leans so heavily into the fact that it is a film in a really postmodern way by having matte paintings, animation, and just an overall stagey nature that it allows it to get away with pretty much anything. I mean, there are some incredibly ropey video effects, and so many points where you'll just have your jaw drop open in a sort of, what on earth am I looking at right now, or what is this tone kind of way. But somehow it just holds together. It's actually really thrilling to watch a film where a filmmaker is just throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. Where it all seems to, and I think it's because there is no sense of control over any of it, that it just keeps barreling forward at such a pace. It just works, and anyone who's ever written a script and thought, oh, this shouldn't work, or this character can't do it, watch House, because it plays by its own rules and it commits to it so much that you can take so much away from it and just go in, yes, this is bizarre and doesn't make sense, and I don't care because it's great and it's gonna, people will love it. Speaking of going wild, what is the soundtrack in House? That is a genuine question to anyone that has seen it. It is like someone just bought a jukebox that came with some songs already pre-built in and just went, yeah, that will do. And again, that sounds awful, that sounds like it should not work, and there is a really terrible pop song at the start that should never be heard by anyone. But it still works, and it's been a week since I watched this and wrote this review, and I still have Kung Fu's theme stuck in my head. It's this weird disco tune that only plays for about 30 seconds, but it's amazing. I think anyone who has an interest in J-horror films this needs to be on your watch list. And even if Japanese horror isn't necessarily your thing, I think there's just about enough sort of weird, almost sort of Evil Dead-esque energy to this film that you will find something in it to love. It's just a really enjoyable, watchable horror comedy. I'd say this would actually be a great sick day horror film, something that you can just sit and veg out and watch. Unless you've got a headache, because there is a lot of shrieking and flashing colours. And it's just chaos. Chaos is the perfect way to describe this film. It feels like it's about to fall apart all the time, and it just never does, and that makes it exciting to watch. It's no wonder that after making this, Obayashi didn't stop making films until he unfortunately passed away earlier this year. Anyway, that's the review. I can't recommend the film enough, but that's all just my opinion. What do you guys think? Is it something you want to watch? Have you already seen it? Let me know down in the comments. Like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the review, because then you won't miss out on any more that come up. Anyway, until next time folks,